Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. His Excellency Coordinating Minister for Economic Affairs, Mr. Airlangga Hartarto, His Excellency Coordinating Minister for Maritime Affairs and Investment, Mr. Luhut Binsar Pandjaitan, Her Excellency Minister of Finance, Mrs. Sri Mulyani Indrawati, His Excellency Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy, Mr. Wishnutama Kusubandio, His Excellency Head of Investment Coordinating Board, Mr. Bahlil Lahadalia, Honorable Chairperson of the Indonesia Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Rosan Perkasa Roslani. A very good afternoon to all of you. It is great pleasure to have this opportunity to welcome all of you, honorable delegates, buyer, investor, and business people to this virtual trade, tourism, and investment forum. I would like to convey my appreciation for your willingness to join in this virtual forum. This forum is held to give information about various challenges and opportunity to increase current and future business in trade dynamic and the global economy. Today, the global economic situation is still tinged with uncertainty. The COVID-19 pandemic that occurred as early as 2020, and it is not yet known when it will be end. And the current situation of trade war between the United States and the people of Republic China, as well as geopolitical tension in some region, are some of the main factors affecting global economic growth in 2020, even 2021. As Mr. Jokowi, our president, has said on numerous occasions, we must be able to turn the momentum of this crisis into a leap of opportunity, taking advantage of this momentum with the progress. Therefore, this year's Trade Tourism Investment Forum raised the theme of policy transformation in the new era toward economic recovery. Ladies and gentlemen, the global economic growth in 2020 is projected by various institutions ranging from -4.0% to -5.2%, while world economic growth in 2021 is projected by various institutions better than 2020, that is between 4.2% to 5.4%. The global economic recession has been a real challenge, and we must face, as last September, the Ministry of Finance has released prediction of Indonesian economic growth in 2020 between -0.6% to -1.7%, while in 2021 it is predicted to improve between 4.5% and 5.5%. In the middle of COVID-19 pandemic situation, this is still outbreak around the world, and the economic development of several countries in the world, they are experiencing recession. Overall, during January to September 2020, Indonesia trade performance remained relatively stable. During the current global economic slowdown, Indonesia recorded a trade surplus both in September 2020 and cumulatively in the period January to September 2020. The trade balance in September 2020 returned to a surplus of $2.44 billion. This surplus in 7 monthly surplus throughout 2020 and continues the trend of 5 following months of surplus since May 2020. The trade surplus in September 2020 increased $0.08 billion compared to the surplus in August 2020. The increase in trade surplus was mainly due to increase in the non-oil and gas surplus to $2.91 billion among worsening oil and gas deficit to $0.47 billion. Indonesia, major trading partners country such as the United States, India, and Philippines accounted for the largest non-oil and gas surplus during September 2020, totaling $2.13 billion US. Nevertheless, on the other hand, we also recorded very complex challenge for Indonesia export and import performance. During January to September 2020, Indonesia export decreased by 5.81% year-on-year, while Indonesian import fell by 18.15% year-on-year. However, specifically in September, the value of export increased 6.97% month-on-month, and import also increased by 7.7% month-on-month. This is certainly a positive signal for the national economy recovery. Ladies and gentlemen, based on the identification and mitigation of the Ministry of Trade, there are several impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic on global trade. Namely, first change in global trade pattern include the result of disrupt supply-demand, prohibition of export-import of some food and health commodities, and change in the global supply chain center. Second, increased logistic costs. Third, trade corporation did not run effectively during the pandemic. And the last four could even lead to the global economic recession. While the trading opportunity that we should immediately take advantage on are, first, grow in the trading value of a new potential product, relocation of global industry and investment center, digital transformation, and the development of increasing massive information technology. And the last, utilization of potential market in the potential region. By looking at the challenge and opportunity that exists, Ministry of Trade have and will continue to take various strategy, policy, and evaluation periodically to support the national economic recovery program. Ladies and gentlemen, during the COVID-19 pandemic situation, effort to maintain domestic trade performance and improve the performance of the Indonesian non-oil and gas export are not easy. But it is our duty, as one of the mandate from Bapak Joko Widodo, is to maintain trade performance. Therefore, the Ministry of Trade has also complied of a strategy of accelerating trade growth for domestic market and global market. Acceleration of trade growth for domestic market, among others: 1. Domestic market surveillance. 2. Protection of domestic industry. 3. Development of domestic market. 4. Relaxation of import for raw material. 5. Improving quality order, measuring order and consumer and power. And 6. Increase and use of domestic product, one of which is through Bangga Buatan Indonesia program. 7. Optimization of the e-commerce. And the 8. Adoption of new habit in the domestic trade order. While some effort to accelerate trade growth for the global market are product focus and export market, relaxation of export and import for export purposes, import product competitiveness, optimization of trade cooperation, strengthening export-oriented small and medium enterprises, increase export in the special economic area or kawasan ekonomi khusus or KEK, and cross-border POS or PLBN, and optimization of warehouse receive system for export commodities, and strengthening market access. One example related to the utilization of market access in accordance with the first presidential mandate is about accelerating the completion of trade negotiation is through the Indonesia Australia Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement or ASEPA scheme. The government of Indonesia and Australia have agreed to begin implementation of ASEPA on July 5, 2020. The implementation of ASEPA will help the economic recovery after COVID-19. ASEPA can be utilized optimally by businesses in both countries, including SMEs, to encourage trade and investment of the two countries for common prosperity. For Indonesian businesses, the benefit is that all Indonesian products that enter the Australian market, 6,400 post tariff, get a tariff of 0%. Indonesia also gets human resources improvement program such as vocational and internship program. ASEPA also provide better investment protection to increase inflow of investment into Indonesia as well as the expansion of Indonesian business into Australia. One important principle of ASEPA is the economic powerhouse, which is the collaboration of the two countries to target third country market. For example, Indonesia instant noodles use Australian wheat as competitive price so that Indonesian instant noodle price are competitive in the global market. This is one of the opportunities that should be utilized by Indonesian businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, especially related to the effort to increase non-oil and gas export, Ministry of Trade has also formulated short-term and medium-term strategy. The short-term strategy are oriented toward product approaches and market approach, while medium-term strategies are carried out through mapping Indonesian product in accreditation countries that already have strength. Besides that, Ministry of Trade undertaking number of strategies in promoting Indonesia trade performance in the new normal era as follows. First, maximize the presence of trade representative to keep control of the export to accreditation countries. This is in accordance with the President Joko Widodo's third mandate, that is optimizing the role of the Indonesia Trade Promotion Center or ITPC. Second, strengthening the competitive of SME through design assistance and consulting, certification assistance, rebranding, and coaching of new exporters. Third, encouraging the facility of exporters, especially SMEs, to participating in some virtual promotional activity. Looking for the business opportunity and one-on-one business meeting between exporter and overseas buying virtually. And then encouraging exporter to immediately take advantage of market access to FTA partners country and providing financing stimulus to increase export and trade by helping export actors affected by COVID-19. One of the programs that we are doing today is a step to maintain the trade balance by increasing export through Trade Expo Indonesia, although this year we are doing it virtually. As we know together, Trade Expo Indonesia is the largest international exhibition in Indonesia. In 2019, there were 1,500 exhibitors with product transaction achievement of $1.54 billion US, investment transaction of $9.29 billion US, and services transaction of $120.08 million US. With products that are in demand by buyer are processing food, paper and paper product, palm oil, CPO, agriculture product, and coffee. Meanwhile, there are 42,796 buyers participate from 136 countries, including Indonesia. The largest buyers come from Egypt, Japan, PRC India, and UK. We hope Trade Expo Indonesia is in this year, although virtually, will able to achieve optimal value. They virtually even brought exhibitor, buyer, and visitor through an online experience using virtual platform. This is arranged to keep improving Indonesia economy and increasing national export performance by transform the event from offline to online communication, interaction, negotiation, and transaction. This event, offering a wide range of Indonesian premium export goods and services, showcased conveniently by product category. I would like to inform you that in this event, we are presenting a comprehensive virtual supporting program to explore trade and investment opportunity. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Indonesian export strategy will be based on investment and growth. Indonesia trade strategy is very clear. We will continue our reform in trade and investment to become more integrated into the world economy. Indonesia also participates in international events such as World Expo. We will participate in the Expo 2020 Dubai that will be held on October 1st, 2021 until March 31st, 2022. Finally, let me conclude by inviting all parties to utilize the TTI series of activities through enhancing cooperation in trade, tourism, and investment in the 35th Trade Expo Indonesia. It is also my sincere wish that your work, your business will be benefit from today's activity. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, distinguished audience, ladies and gentlemen. First, I would like to express my appreciation to the Indonesian Minister of Trade for holding a virtual trade, tourism, and investment. On this occasion, allow me to convey the policy development that have been carried out by the government of the Republic of Indonesia in accordance with the theme of today's event, Policy Transformation in the New Era Toward Economic Recovery. It was just recently announced that in the third quarter of 2020, Indonesia experienced a contraction on the positive trend, which is 3.49 in compare with the same period last year, but the contraction is not as deep as the second quarter of 2020. And furthermore, on quarterly basis, economic growth quite high at 5.05% compared with previous quarter. This means that it is significant increase in the economic activities and the rock bottom phase in Indonesia has been passed. And this will be a good start to step up in the fourth quarter of 2020. The improvement in economic condition in the third quarter is a result of the intervention that has been intensively carried out by the government in an effort to deal with COVID-19 and to restore the national economy, namely the implementation of National Economic Recovery Program and opening of the economy with the adaptation of the new habit. Improvement can also be seen in several economic indicators: the increase in used production capacity, the use of labor that has boosted the performance of business activities in the third quarter 2020. The performance of the business world is predicted to continue increase in the fourth quarter of 2020. In line with this, manufacturing industry, which is the largest contribution to the GDP, also show improvement in the third quarter of 2020. Improvement is predicted to continue in the fourth quarter, where the prompt manufacturing index is expected to reach an expansion of level above 50. Recovering industrial activity is also reflected in increase of import of raw materials and capital goods during the months of September this year. The trade balance, which experienced of $8 billion surplus in the third quarter, also support the resilience of the external sectors. In line with the improving economic condition, indicators of Indonesia competitiveness are still maintained. International rating agencies still maintain for the investment grade level for Indonesia. Fitch has affirmed Indonesia rating to be BBB, a stable outlook in the 10 August 2020. It shows investor opinion and optimism for the Indonesian economic recovery. Distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, the government has implemented a balanced brake and gas pedal strategy that maintains between handling the COVID-19 and the economic recovery. In terms of health, a roadmap of procurement and implementation of immunization for vaccination has been prepared through Presidential Regulation number 99 of 2020. The vaccination is a game changer for the national economic recovery as well as to improve the health condition of Indonesian people, which is also the targeted to achieve herd immunity to create a security, increase public trust, as well as ultimately give confidence to the people to begin spending again. The government has provided a budget of 695.2 trillion rupiah, and next year will be provided about 356.5 trillion rupiah to support the handling of COVID-19 pandemic and make sure that the economic recovery will continue. Ladies and gentlemen, we must realize that COVID-19 has become a momentum for acceleration of digital transformation. The goals for digital transformation is to maximize the potential Indonesia digital economy, which can reach US dollar 133 billion by 2025. Digital transformation is also an enabler to getting out of middle income trap and restoring the national economy. It will also strengthen the economic foundation to support unsustainable development. To encourage the creation of digital transformation, the government continue to strive to provide and develop digital infrastructure, including 4G networks, operation of Satria multi-function satellite, government data center, and true 5G development. In addition to National Economic Recovery Program, the government and the Legislative Board of this month have passed the Job Creation Law as Law number 11 of 2020. The law is aimed to encourage the creation of jobs and ease of opening new business, namely by making easy to get permits and facilitating special treatment for micro and small enterprises, making it easy to get business legality, making it easy to management of operation and cooperation institution, while also ensures that workers or laborers continue to receive protection and ensure the fulfillment of worker rights. Job creation law is expected to become a post-pandemic rescue, also to restore small and medium enterprises. And also the government encourage the people to use cooperative as reopening jobs for the people. Ladies and gentlemen, all participants, let me end this speech by expressing my belief that the Indonesian economy, through concrete and appropriate policy, will be able to overcome the challenge that we are currently occurring in this year. Together, we hope that in the future, the Indonesia economy will be stronger and more successful, and we are looking forward for collaboration of all the stakeholders in Indonesia. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin my presentation about investing in Indonesia during uncertain times. COVID-19 contracted more than 40 million people. Indonesia counts for 1% global confirmed cases. This is, I think, very, very bad globally. But if you look at now stable Indonesia case, need to be careful of second wave. We are really be careful about this second wave. But we are happy so far that we are able to contain this COVID-19. Now, let me move to the economy. The impact of COVID-19 caused our Indonesian economic contraction in most, also in most countries. If you look at Indonesia, I think the second quarter our contraction around 5.32%, and the third quarter 3.49%. But I think improved. If you look at from the first quarter, still plus 3%, and down to minus 5.32%, and then now up to minus 3.49%. So we do hope by next fourth quarter we can go up maybe to negative 0.5%. But if you compare it to some other country, India, Vietnam, I think we are still doing okay. Better economic growth in quarter 3 2020 is supported by net export and government consumption. But don't forget that domestic consumption in Indonesia is very good. It is around 75 to 80%. GDP growth by expenditure, if you look at the slide, also improve. The number, I think, give also some indication that our economy already move up, and GDP growth by value-added industry also improving time to time. Now, leading indicators indicate improvement, but there is a still gap with the other countries. Yeah, if you look at this data, Purchasing Manager Index, Manufacturer Consumer Confidence Index, and retail sale. But I think make some progress in this regard. You look at the red line. Now, what do we do to contain the COVID-19? Three main strategies for COVID-19 response in 8 provinces. Right now, we add another 5 provinces, so altogether 13 provinces. Number one is behavior change and early detection of COVID-19 transmission, encouraging people compliance to health protocol through massive and systematic campaign for health protocols in the community, engaging various stakeholders. Number 2, disciplinary operation, we call it justice, operasi justisia, to enforce people compliance to health protocol. Because this one is very important. If you comply to the health protocol, I think you can cut the transfer of this COVID-19. Also improving targeted testing and tracing. Now, I think we build up the system so that we can trace the people who has possibility this COVID-19. Our strategy number 2, makeshift centralized isolation facilities. Every city who has a quite high number of COVID, we provide facilities to take care of them. Every city that has a higher number of confirmed cases should provide centralized isolation facilities equipped with adequate health support for handling asymptomatic and mild patients. This one, like in Jakarta, for instance, we provide like maybe nearly 15,000 beds. We can see from this right now that decline number of patients into the hospital. The strategy number 3, standardized clinical management of COVID-19. This is, I think, very important because we have like 450 hospitals around the country, and we have to improve clinical management of COVID-19 patients through standardizing treatment guideline written by the 5 professional organizations and a state-owned company, a state-owned hospital team. Ensuring each hospital handling COVID-19 patient has adequate bed capacity, medical supplies, and equipment to carry out the clinical guidelines. Now, I'd like to give you some data about this, highlight impacted provinces' contribution to national COVID number contribution. If you look at the chart here, national contribution, 8 provinces, 72%. Right now, I think around even less than 65%. and 5 provinces 17.3%, now around 16.8%. So positivity rate, if you look at before, it is like 15.8, right now 13.9%. So we see all the data showing us that much better than a month and a half ago. Mortality rate contribution per province also, let's look at this also, improve quite much, and we are happy with this, but we have to be careful because of the, some demonstration, and this could also trigger another cluster. Now, talking about the economic recovery program, government prepare like 695 trillion rupiah fiscal to stimulate the economy. So we prepare for health, social protection, business incentive, small medium enterprises, cooperation financing, sectoral and regional government. That's, I think, the area that we are touching very much. So, so far we are very happy that all this fund we can, disperse to the ground. Now, realization of October, as of October 14, 2020, is mostly focused on social protection and more small medium enterprises. If you look at this one, realization from October 7, 30% on the health, social protection, so sectoral local government, business incentive, small medium enterprise, and corporate financing. So you can see the data here, how do we do it, but we have to make sure all the fund can go down to the ground. Realization progress show acceleration in quarter 3 2020 economic recovery program cluster cumulative realization. See the data that I think improving quite bad. So we are quite happy because of the the program, I think, implementing quite well. Now, Omnibus Law target to increase investment realization and effectiveness in Indonesia on comparison of incremental capital output ratio, ICOR in Asia and India. If you look at this data here, Indonesia still not so good 2014-15, but we like to see this can be improved, like maybe in India, maybe India or maybe Vietnam in this area. Also, government created online single submission as a way to prevent corruption in business licensing. Too many permits, this is 521 permits from 25 institutions and following regulation. Number 2, overlapping permit in local and national government, and strong cartel and monopoly practices in strategic business sectors such as mining and agriculture. And corruption prevention culture has not been developed in the private sector. So by putting this online, I think less and less face-to-face contact, I think give us some better, atmosphere, business atmosphere in this country. Now, potential investor only have to access one portal to fulfill all requirements, what we call it online single submission. This is, I think, potential. The left is before OSS, and then on the right is the after OSS. So this is, I think, making Indonesia much better and much better transparency than before. Now, let me move to the Omnibus Law. Will strengthen the economy by legal simplification, creating jobs and ease of doing business in Indonesia. There are 11 basically the contents of the Omnibus Law. Simplification of doing business and some others. Omnibus Law would amend around 79 laws and 1,244 articles. So you can see this is the massive thing happened in Indonesia the first time in our history. Now, permits are not abolished, but instead changed into a risk-based approach. Risk-based license, Article 9, 10, 11 of Omnibus Law. You see the slide here, low risk, medium risk, etc. Now, various facilities, ladies and gentlemen, for the micro and small enterprises sector, SME, this is, I think, very important because we have like 64 million small medium enterprises. So if we give them, better attention, like single license for the SME, via registration, make it simple for them to invest, this is, I think, become a very backbone of our economy in the near future. Granting incentive and facilities for medium and large enterprises partnering with SME, integrated management of SME through synergy with the stakeholders, fiscal and financing incentive for the development and empowerment of MSCME, government prioritizing the use of DAC to fund activities for the development and improvement of medium enterprises. So you see, providing legal assistance, etc. So we really hard to, work very hard to make small medium enterprises play a very vital role in our economy. Established of Indonesian Investment Authority, this is part of the Omnibus Law, established by Indonesian law as a generous Indonesian legal entity. Mandate asset optimization, also attractive investment by co-investing, play an active role in improving Indonesian investment climate. So this Indonesian Investment Authority, I think, could bring some new things in Indonesia, because we can chip in government. Indonesia plan to chip like the first batch is like $6 billion, but we have planned also to put in our state-owned company, the strategic one, into this Indonesia Investment Authority. Now, Indonesian Investment Authority framework, we call it Indonesia Investment Authority, aspires to become a trusted investment partner to build long-term and sustainable economic development. This is a very strategic for Indonesia, not yet stable investment destination, especially for foreign direct investment. Large infrastructure financing need, especially transportation sector. Reduce current account deficit through structural economic transformation. Well, I'm going to also to Washington sometimes this month. So this also to promote about our sovereign wealth fund, and we are engaged also on IDFC to be part of this program. Now this is, I think, the Indonesian Investment Authority investment structure. We prepare it very well. We work together with ADIA from Abu Dhabi and also with Japan and IDFC. So this is, I think, the result of the long discussion, and we make it very credible on this structure, and it's a good, I think, for the investor to invest in this for sovereign wealth fund. Now, ladies and gentlemen, pharmaceutical need in Indonesia is still constrained by lack of a domestic IPI. This is a problem for us before. We didn't understand until COVID-19 came. So then we understand that we have a problem with pharmaceutical industry in Indonesia. So now we fix this, and this is a good opportunity for you all, ladies and gentlemen, to invest in Indonesia. Now, non-communicable disease is on the rise despite existing communicable disease. You see the drug sales rank anti-cancer, antibacterial, digestive system, anti-diabetic, catastrophic expenditure BPJS January to May 2020, heart, cancer, stroke, liver failure. So there are so many areas that you can invest in Indonesia. Now we have a Batang bonded zone. KI will have the designated chemical cluster for IPI. This is in Central Java. I was discussed this also with U.S. Chambers of Commerce. They asked me also about the status of the Batang bonded zone, and this is, I think, around 4,300 hectares. The government prepared the land, infrastructure, toll, road, electricity, waste management, and seaport. So basically, the government, the first 5 years, you don't need to pay your rent on the land, but after 5 years, you have to pay rent on the land. So this is, I think, the area. So I think this is very important for you also to consider to invest or relocate your industry in this area. Existing incentive and incentives under planning for API, fiscal incentive, non-fiscal incentive, you can see on this slide, and we can see the fiscal incentive, tax holiday, tax allowance, import tax exemption, super tax deduction, non-fiscal, local content, integrated permit, etc. So basically, we give the easy way for the investor to invest in Indonesia. So after this omnibus law with some adjustment here and there, I think Indonesia could give you the very good incentive to invest in Indonesia. Thank you very much.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Mr. Agus Suparmanto, Minister of Trade of the Republic of Indonesia, and all the Ministry of Trade staff. Ladies and gentlemen, the committee, buyers, participants of the 2020 TTI Virtual Exhibition Trade, Tourism and Investment Forum. First, I would like to congratulate and appreciate the Ministry of Trade initiative and also successfully organizing the Trade Expo Indonesia or TEI Virtual Exhibition 2020. This event marks an excellent opportunity for all of you, international buyers and potential investors, to know more about Indonesia products and commodities, and as well as opportunity to make a trade with us. In this occasion, Minister of Finance would like to share with you what is the government-owned policy in order for us to be able to withstand and manage the complex implication of COVID-19 and how we are striving to recover the economy. We all now live in a borderless and seamless world. Globalization in the last 3 decades has brought global economy more closer, integrated in the movement of people as well as merchandise. We also see the capital movement across border, which is accelerated all across the world. This globalization has provided a very huge beneficial for many countries, reducing poverty as well as increasing the equality. But we are all see the implication of globalizations in which not all people can enjoy the benefit of this global trade and globalization. These are the challenges that we are all need to face. The global economic challenges in the last 2 decades has been various. First and foremost is, of course, the global financial crisis in 2008-2009, which is followed by a debt crisis and economic slowdown. The financial crisis at the global level is also increasing the ability of the government in order for them to be able to withstand the shocks coming from the financial sector. A lot of policy regulation has been upgraded or strengthened. And these are all the most important when we are facing with the shock, which is unprecedented in century, that is pandemic COVID-19. The COVID-19, which mainly a health challenge, has become a social, economic, and financial issue for many countries in the world. The world and the globalizations suddenly has to be paused, stopped, because people cannot move freely and all the transaction is being also affected and even halted. These are all the challenges that many countries now facing, in addition to the complexity of geopolitical situation. For example, the relationship between the 2 biggest countries in the world, that is United States and China. We also see the geopolitical and security, which is also escalating, which demand a lot of attention of policymakers. And at the same time, we also see and witnessing the change on the global climate, which is affecting many people, especially the poor. So these are all the challenges that the globalization and all countries in the world who try to get the benefit of globalization, but also at the same time seeing the risk from this globalization. Indonesia, as an open country, also witnessing this kind of challenge and have to manage the consequence of sometimes a shock coming from the global sources. The pandemic COVID is one of them. We are now entering the 9th month since the pandemic COVID-19 declared by the WHO. This COVID has made all economy in the world entering recession. The challenge to manage and control the widespreading of the COVID-19, or for example, by flattening the infection curve, has created a huge potential as well as real consequence to the social activity, economic as well as financial implication. We are now witnessing global economy entering into contraction. The IMF, OECD, World Bank, they are all projecting that 2020 economic growth globally is going to be in a negative territory. Indonesia is trying to do our best in order not only managing the COVID-19, but also to minimize the implication or the consequence of the COVID-19 to the society as well as to the economy. The government of Indonesia launching the COVID-19 committee to address this challenge from this pandemic, and at the same time launching the economic recovery plan or program at the national level. After a very deep contraction on the second quarter of minus 5.32% on our economic growth, with all this effort made by the government in order for us to be able to withstand the shock from the COVID-19 and to recover the economy through our fiscal policy, that is our national budget, combined with the monetary policy and financial sector regulation, we were able to now see the recovery, early recovery on the third quarter of this year. The economic growth on the third quarter still at the negative territory, but at a very much better or shallower than the contraction on the second quarter. That is at the minus 3.49%. And this recovery supported by both demand and supply side. From the demand side, the government spending from the fiscal stimulus definitely supporting household consumption and recovery on the investment side, although not still at the full scale level. We also see 12 out of 17 production sector is now providing a sign of inflection point or turning point into a much better direction. So recovery taking place in many areas of activity, along with the government effort to control the COVID, which is allowing the people to start doing their activity. The social restriction has been a little bit relaxed, but we are continue communicating and educating the public to be able to continue adopting and adapting to this new lifestyle while also practicing health protocol. These are most important because we cannot make a trade-off between health concern as well as the economic recovery. So with the discipline of all people, We are now seeing the recovery of the economy, and the government of Indonesia will continue using our policy and instrument as well as our regulatory forbearance to be able to continue nurture and strengthen this recovery process. While we are addressing the issue of this pandemic COVID-19, the government of Indonesia is not shifting our focus and attention to build the foundation for the economy based on productivity, innovation, as well as improvement of the technology adoption. Indonesia has many fundamental challenges that continue need to be addressed to be able to become an open, competitive, productive, innovative economy. The one and the most important challenge is the human capital quality. That's why within our budget 2020, while we are addressing the issue of COVID, we continue allocating 20% of our budget for education on top of our priority on a health issue and social spending. This policy will continue in 2021, in which the budget has been approved by the Parliament. In addition to the human capital, which is mainly education, health, and social protection, we also allocate significant portion of our budget as well as the policy reform for building adequate infrastructure. This is not only in the form of road, port, and airport, as well as electricity, but the government is also now focusing in accelerating our infrastructure, especially related to the ICT. COVID-19 provided us a very important lesson in which the infrastructure on the ICT now become a backbone to substitute the interaction of the people and the economy. Many of the transactions as well as work and school has been now converted into internet and digital based activity. And that's why the government of Indonesia continue and will continue allocated significant portion of our budget in order for us to be able to build a good, sound, and robust connection, ICT connection across the geographical area of Indonesia. The third is, of course, for us to be able to reform the economy. The competitiveness, productivity, and our ability to continue to innovate will really depend on the regulatory framework, which is open as well as less burdensome for the investors. And that's why the government of Indonesia has discussed and now being approved by the parliament a very important and critical legislation that is Omnibus Law on job creation. Indonesia is a country with a very rich natural resources, with a young demographic, as well as a lot of opportunity. But this all potential can only be translated into the prosperity of the people when the regulatory framework, bureaucracy, policy, permit is not creating a burden or a challenge for all innovator, people, as well as investors and business, especially small and medium enterprises. So with our design on this legislation, we are aiming for creating Indonesia, which is competitive, less bureaucratic, and still continue investing in a human capital so that the people of Indonesia will be able to create, to be more productive and also enjoy the benefit of the investment, whether this is coming from our own Indonesia resources as well as from abroad. These are all our effort, not only just addressing and managing the challenge of pandemic COVID-19 consequences, but most importantly, Indonesia will continue to build a stronger foundation for our economy, especially for our younger demographic population. So with this, all the effort, Indonesia will continue, hopefully recover in a robust and in a very certain direction. But we also know that this recovery is also subject to the uncertainty of the pandemic COVID-19 and the global environment. So this Trade, Tourism and Investment Forum through this virtual exhibition is a very welcome initiative and very good initiative in order for us to be able to minimize the pandemic COVID-19 implication to our society and the economy. Through this virtual exhibition, we do hope that the trade, investment, and the idea can continue to be correlated or related in order for them to be able to strengthen and recover the economy. The promotion as well as understanding of the potential of the economy is going to be very critical. We all understand that all countries enjoying the benefit from trade, tourism, and investment. Trade, tourism, and investment are all the activity that can create jobs, can improve productivity, can increase the welfare of the people, as well as can improve the innovation of the country. So for us, Indonesia, we will continue to support this kind of relationship, and for the Ministry of Finance, we will use our tools in order for us to be able to support trade, tourism, and investment relation across country in the world. These are all very critical for the recovery of not only each country, but the whole global economy. And in order for us to be able to continue anticipating this recovery, we will continue devoting our attention for the reform. This is including the reform on a logistical area, like the national logistical area, in order for us to be able to provide the very competitive, efficient logistical system that will enable trade and investment to enjoy the benefit of this efficient and predictable system. We also continue to support our small, medium enterprises in order for them to be able not only survive from this pandemic, but they are going to then come up as a champion and a winner from this crisis, and also taking the advantage of the opportunity trading with all neighboring countries. Indonesia will also continue improving our digital transformation. With that, we will be able to continue unleash the potential of many people in Indonesia, many entrepreneurs, as well as many potential investors, so that Indonesia will be able to not only recover from this COVID, but we are going to be able to come up as a winner while strengthening our foundation. I want to give this opportunity to provide all participants so that they are all going not only to enjoy this trade, tourism, and investment forum, but also to be able to continue to be optimistic. This is not an easy time. This is an extraordinary time. But with this kind of extraordinary challenges, I do believe that everybody can raise up and continue strive to be able to be better. I wish you all to have a productive virtual exhibition and a successful transaction. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon. Warm greetings for you all. Excellencies, Coordinating Minister of Economic Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Airlangga Hartarto. Coordinating Minister for Maritime and Investment Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Luhut Binsar Pandjaitan. Minister of Trade of the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Agus Suparmanto. Minister of Finance of the Republic of Indonesia, Mrs. Sri Mulyani. Chairman of Indonesia Investment Coordinating Board, Mr. Bahlil Lahadalia. Chairman of Indonesia Chambers, Commerce and Industry, Mr. Rosan Perkasa Roslani. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to mention that the creative economy is a valuable resource if we manage them in the right way. Therefore, the government is always eager in providing supports to explore the potential and maximizing the opportunities while overcoming the challenges of the creative economy in Indonesia. Moreover, that the COVID-19 pandemic has affected us and also our creative economy. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 3 strategic programs to keep reviving both the tourism and creative economy sectors. Those are encouraging the recovery of our tourism, developing the quality tourism and creative economy, and the digitalization and digital sovereignty. We will focus on how these policies are well implemented so that it will give direct impact to the people. Our participation in the Trade Expo Indonesia is a part of our action in reviving the creative economy. This will be the 5th time we participate in this event to promote our creative products and services for the global markets. This year, we also facilitate 35 local brands for the subsectors of craft, product design, and fashion. Currently, the Indonesian government is also having a national movement program named Bangga Buatan Indonesia, or Proudly Made in Indonesia, which aims to help the impacted SMEs and encouraging them to shift onto digital platforms. In addition, this movement is implemented through the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy program, which is called Beli Kreatif Lokal or Purchase Local Creative Product. This program is our initiative to help the development of the local creative, focusing on the culinary, craft, and fashion by optimizing its business through digital platforms. Lastly, I believe that creative and innovation need inclusivity and collaboration, particularly for reaching the international markets. Thus, I hope that all of you always open the doors to collaboration with many stakeholders to create the supportive ecosystem of creative economy for our better future together. Thank you. Salam Indonesia Maju.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Yang saya hormati Bapak Menko Marinvest, Bapak Luhut Binsar Pandjaitan, beserta Pak Menko Ekonomi, Bapak Airlangga Hartarto. Yang saya hormati Ibu Menteri Keuangan, Ibu Sri Mulyani Indrawati, beserta Bapak Menteri Prawisata, Bapak Wishnutama Kusubandio, Bapak Ibu hadirin peserta yang saya hormati dan saya muliakan. Izinkan saya dalam kesempatan yang baik ini untuk menyampaikan beberapa hal atas dasar permintaan panitia terkait dengan acara Trade, Tourism and Investment Forum tahun 2020. Kita semua tahu bahwa kondisi pandemi COVID yang diawali di sekitar bulan Februari akhir untuk Indonesia itu betul-betul berdampak sistemik, masif dan terstruktur. Yang diawali dari persoalan kesehatan, kemudian berdampak pada persoalan sosial, dan akhirnya adalah persoalan ekonomi. Di hampir semua belahan dunia, kita tahu bahwa pertumbuhan ekonomi itu mengalami kontraksi yang sangat dalam. Bahkan di beberapa negara Asia Tenggara pun mengalaminya. Yang kita melihat hanya di Vietnam yang agak sedikit lebih baik. Di Indonesia pun mengalami hal yang sama. Pertumbuhan ekonomi kita pada kuartal kedua itu minus kurang lebih sekitar 5%. Kaitannya dengan investasi, kita tahu bahwa kontribusi terhadap pertumbuhan ekonomi nasional selain konsumsi 60%, investasi adalah 30%. Dan pertumbuhan investasi di kuartal kedua itu terjadi minus 7% secara akumulatif. Namun dalam kuartal ketiga juga kami mempunyai keyakinan bahwa akan terjadi minus, tapi kurang lebih sekitar 5-6%. Bapak Ibu semua, saya ingin menyampaikan bahwa terkait dengan apa yang dilakukan oleh BKPM, kebetulan di BKPM mengurus tentang investasi langsung, baik foreign direct investment maupun penanaman modal dalam negeri. Nah, untuk realisasi investasi sampai dengan kuartal ketiga dari bulan Januari sampai bulan September kita sudah mencapai 611,6 triliun atau 74,8% dari target realisasi investasi pada tahun 2020 kurang lebih sekitar 817 triliun. Angka ini sudah jauh di bawah dari target awal sebesar 886 triliun. Kita udah melakukan revisi. Kita tahu semua bahwa di beberapa lembaga dunia itu mengumumkan hasil survei mereka bahwa untuk foreign direct investment akan turun di angka 30-40%. Tapi kita bersyukur bahwa di Indonesia penurunannya tidak mencapai 10%, kurang lebih sekitar 6%. Itu dapat kita lihat bahwa realisasi untuk penanaman modal asing dari 611,6 triliun tersebut sebesar 301,7 triliun atau 49,3%. Sementara PMDN-nya sendiri kurang lebih sekitar 50,7%. Memang di balik kondisi COVID yang belum bisa kita memaksimalkan realisasi FDI, maka kita menggenjot investasi dalam negeri. Di aspek yang lain saya ingin menyampaikan bahwa minat para investor baik dari luar negeri maupun dalam negeri untuk menanamkan modalnya atau menjalankan usahanya yang dulunya itu hanya berfokus di Pulau Jawa. Kenapa di Pulau Jawa? Karena infrastrukturnya udah memenuhi, kemudian skill tenaga kerjanya juga tersedia, serta pasti kos logistiknya lebih baik. Namun harus kita memberikan apresiasi bahwa 5 tahun kepemimpinan Pak JK dalam fokus pembangunan infrastruktur yang merata dari Aceh sampai Papua sekarang sudah menuai hasil. Apa ukurannya? Realisasi investasi tidak hanya bertumpu pada Pulau Jawa, tapi sekarang udah mulai berimbang kepada luar Pulau Jawa. Komposisinya dari Januari sampai bulan September sekarang itu Jawa kurang lebih sekitar 307,5 triliun atau sama dengan 50,3%. Luar Jawa 304,1 triliun atau 49,7%. Ini adalah angka-angka dari kinerja yang ada di BKPM terkait dengan persoalan realisasi investasi. Namun penting kami juga menyampaikan ketika kami masuk di BKPM ada kurang lebih sekitar 708 triliun investasi mangkrak. Dan 708 triliun ini terjadi akibat 3 hal. Yang pertama itu adalah tumpang tindihnya regulasi antara pemerintah, kabupaten, kota, provinsi, dan pusat. Yang kedua adalah ego sektoral. antara kementerian lembaga. Yang persoalan ketiga adalah persoalan tanah dan juga adalah upah kerja. Nah, dari 708 triliun tersebut kami membentuk satgas sekarang di BKPM untuk menyelesaikan, dan alhamdulillah sekarang sudah mampu tereksekusi kurang lebih sekitar 411,3 triliun atau sama dengan 58% dari total 708 triliun. Itulah jawaban kenapa foreign direct investment kita pada 2020 Januari sampai September itu turunnya tidak terlalu tinggi karena kita mempunyai cadangan. Nah, memang cara untuk menyelesaikan ini harus end to end. Tidak bisa lagi dengan pola-pola lama yang seperti kita sebagai pejabat. Jadi kita harus merespon setiap dinamika, setiap permohonan para investor, para pengusaha. Karena saya pikir momentum ini juga menjadi momentum untuk mengevaluasi dan merenung. Harusnya pemerintah yang ditugaskan untuk mengurus investasi itu harus mempunyai posisi yang harus lebih baik, yang harus lebih akrab dengan para investor agar bisa kita bicara untuk mencari solusinya. Dalam konteks agar tidak ada ego sektoral, maka BKPM dalam arahan Bapak Presiden adalah memerintahkan untuk mengurus para investor baik asing maupun dalam negeri termasuk UMKM secara baik, secara total. Bagaimana caranya? Secara kebetulan bahwa kita mempunyai Undang-Undang Nomor 25 Tahun 2007 tentang penanaman modal dan Impres Nomor 7. Di mana Impres Nomor 7 tersebut salah satu poinnya adalah pendelegasian kewenangan perizinan ke BKPM, termasuk insentif fiskal. Saya terima kasih kepada Ibu Menkyu karena sekarang atas kebaikan dan pikiran cerdasnya Ibu Menkyu, insentif fiskal, tax holiday, tax allowance, impor barang modal, itu semua sudah diserahkan ke BKPM. Ini semua semata-mata agar kita melakukan percepatan dan kepastian. Karena saya punya keyakinan pengusaha itu membutuhkan hanya 4 hal. Kepastian, kemudahan, kecepatan, transparansi. Kalau ini mampu kita lakukan dengan baik, maka saya yakin ke depan Indonesia akan menjadi tempat tujuan investasi. Nah, dalam Impres Nomor 7 tersebut kita lihat bahwa pendelegasian kewenangan ada pada 22 kementerian lembaga, izin-izin itu sekarang sudah ke BKPM endingnya. Tetapi notifikasi untuk persoalan teknis itu tetap di Kementerian Teknis. Namun di BKPM sekarang sudah ada pejabat penghubung dari 22 kementerian lembaga. Yang awalnya tidak jelas kapan selesai izinnya, insya Allah sekarang udah mulai jelas. Nah, inilah kemudian kenapa 413 triliun dari investasi mangkrak itu bisa terselesaikan. Nah, terkait dengan Undang-Undang Cipta Kerja, Bapak Ibu semua yang saya hormati, Undang-Undang Cipta Kerja yang sudah ditandatangani oleh Bapak Presiden Jokowi merupakan suatu terobosan yang sangat revolusioner, yang sangat punya keberanian luar biasa, yang salah satu intinya itu adalah bagaimana memberikan kemudahan berusaha. Kemudahan berusaha yang berorientasi pada percepatan. Nah, dengan undang-undang ini, maka para pengusaha tidak perlu lagi datang terlalu banyak keliling kepada kementerian lembaga karena semua sudah berbasis elektronik dan lewat OSS, online single submission. Nah, ini semuanya sudah terkonek baik pemerintah pusat maupun pemerintah daerah. Nah, di dalam NSPK-nya atau norma standar prosedur dan kriteria itu kita sudah akan menentukan waktunya. Dengan demikian maka ada kepastian bagi teman-teman pengusaha, investor. Kedepan kami meyakini bahwa BKPM sebagai lembaga pengelola OSS itu pasti mempunyai tantangan yang luar biasa. Namun saya yakinkan kepada teman-teman investor, saya yakinkan kepada teman-teman bahwa Indonesia sekarang sudah berubah. Jangan lagi ada satu anggapan bahwa kalau bisa dipersulit kenapa dipermudah. Nggak ada lagi. Di BKPM sekarang sudah membenah semuanya. Kita harus melakukan percepatan dengan langkah-langkah seperti sekarang dengan undang-undang yang baru dan arahan Bapak Presiden, setiap investasi yang masuk baik dari luar negeri maupun dalam negeri yang besar harus berkolaborasi dengan pengusaha-pengusaha nasional yang ada di daerah dan UMKM. Kenapa ini harus dilakukan? Agar sinergitas untuk bersama-sama itu bisa terwujud. Setiap investasi yang masuk ke daerah harus mempunyai dampak ekonomi bagi daerah tersebut. Pengusaha-pengusaha daerah yang dimaksudkan atau pengusaha-pengusaha nasional yang ada daerah dan UMKM yang dimaksudkan sudah barang tentu adalah pengusaha-pengusaha yang memenuhi syarat, punya kemampuan profesionalisme, punya pengalaman, bukan juga pengusaha yang sembarang-sembarang. Nah, saya pikir dengan pola seperti ini, maka ke depan pasti akan lebih baik. Dalam konteks yang lain saya ingin menyampaikan bahwa fokus pemerintah ke depan terkait dengan Undang-Undang Cipta Kerja maupun arah kebijakan prioritas investasi mengarah kepada transformasi ekonomi. Transformasi ekonomi ini harus dimaknai sebagai bentuk dalam proses untuk adanya hilirisasi, penciptaan nilai tambah, melahirkan produk subsidi impor ataupun ekspor. Dan sektor-sektor sekarang yang menjadi fokus adalah salah satu diantaranya sektor pertambangan, sektor kesehatan, sektor manufaktur, kemudian perkebunan dan infrastruktur serta pariwisata. Yang lain-lainnya juga masuk, tapi ini yang menjadi skala-skala prioritas kita. Karena saya yakin ke depan sebuah negara yang memenangkan kompetisi bukanlah yang besar mengalahkan yang kecil, tetapi yang cepat mengalahkan yang lambat. Yang progresif lah yang mampu memenangkan kompetisi tersebut. Dan saya yakin Indonesia ke depan dengan tim yang baik, insya Allah kita sudah siap untuk melayani para investor baik dalam negeri, luar negeri, termasuk UMKM. Datanglah ke Indonesia. Cukup teman-teman para investor membawa teknologi, membawa kapital, sebagian pasar. Biarlah izin dan lokasi di mana teman-teman membangun industri, biarlah BKPM yang urus atas nama pemerintah. Pemerintah menyadari bahwa dalam rangka meningkatkan tingkat kemudahan berusaha kita, harus betul-betul juga adalah kehadiran pemerintah dan BUMN untuk bagaimana merespon. Kita tahu bahwa di Indonesia salah satu yang dikeluhkan oleh para investor adalah persoalan lahan yang konon biasanya terjadi, harganya mahal dan punglinya juga besar. Nah, untuk mengantisipasi hal tersebut, kami pemerintah telah membuat satu kawasan industri di Batang, di mana kami sampaikan bahwa 5 tahun pertama gratis. Izin-izinnya semua diberesin sama BKPM. Bapak-bapak tidak perlu ada keraguan. Di sana adalah kawasan yang sangat strategis, yang cuma 500 meter dengan tol, dan pintu tolnya sudah kita lakukan. Kemudian juga pelabuhannya sangat dekat. Di dalam tengah-tengah kawasan itu ada kereta. Dan yang terpenting adalah tenaga kerjanya di sana belum sampai 2 juta rupiah. Kawasan ini didesain khusus untuk bagaimana merespon permintaan dari para investor dan keluhan dari para investor tentang status proses untuk mendapatkan lahan. Dengan demikian, maka sekali lagi saya katakan, silakan teman-teman hanya cukup datang bawa teknologi, bawa modal, bawa sebagian pasar. Biarlah BKPM yang menyiapkan lahannya dan memberikan izinnya, izin dari pusat sampai provinsi sampai daerah. Biar tidak ada lagi yang menyusahkan Bapak Ibu pengusaha. Dengan kerjasama ini, saya yakinkan bahwa ini pasti akan menguntungkan bagi semua pihak. Investor akan mendapatkan hasil yang baik, pemerintah daerah, kabupaten, kota, provinsi akan mendapatkan hasil yang baik, dan pemerintah juga akan mendapatkan kepuasan yang baik. Saya pikir ini beberapa hal yang perlu saya sampaikan. Insya Allah ke depan kita akan lebih baik. Demikian, kurang lebihnya mohon maaf. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Santi Santi Om, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan.
Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, At the outset, I would like to convey my appreciation to the Ministry of Trade that despite of this unfavorable situation due to the pandemic COVID-19, they continue to proceed with the Trade Expo Indonesia exhibition by changing the model of conventional TEI to Trade Expo Indonesia Virtual Exhibition TEI-VE 2020 with the purpose of further improving the Indonesian export performance in the coming years. This 35th TEI-VE 2020 is an international B2B trade show which is designed to boost export product growth and export market expansion. In this TEI-VE 2020, Indonesia will promote quality products made in Indonesia via virtual exhibition platform for penetrating to the global market, develop business networks, investment, and present showcases Indonesian premium and best products. We all know that for the past few years, Indonesia has achieved a positive trend of export growth in a variety of products and services to the global market. However, we should not be complacent and continue to galvanize our effort to further enhance our export, because at the moment Indonesia is harshly competing with other countries in exploring and cultivating opportunities at the global market. To this end, to further enhance and improve national export performance, Indonesia has been very proactive in inviting and bringing buyers and investors for a direct business with Indonesian providers of export products and services at the annual trade show of TEI and the current TEI-VE 2020. Against those background, we are all aware that the digital economy is growing quite rapidly at the global, regional, and national levels. The potential of Indonesia as the biggest digital economic power in 2020 is clearly immense, as reflected in the significant numbers and penetration of the digital technology application in our national economic activity. In this connection to Indonesian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, strongly believe that TEI-VE 2020 will open a new era in conducting exhibition for a digital promotion of export of Indonesian products and services, which are eventually benefiting business players and export. Therefore, we earnestly welcome and supportive to the creation of e-catalog as a productive platform for exporters to promote their products and services to the buyers by providing complete information with regard to participants and product of interest to buyers. In conclusion, I hope that through e-catalog, we will be able to further improve the Indonesian export performance in the years to come, which are beneficial to all concerned. Thank you.